Hello students and parents. In this video lesson, I will be going over our math assignment from earlier today. So let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, please put the date. Then after that, what we're going to do is we are going to be talking about time. So today we are beginning our topic on time, and we're going to be working with time and how to tell time and learning about the clock for the rest of this week and next week in September 17th. And we're just going to get more familiar with time, because time is a very important skill that needs to be learned by students, because if we don't know how to tell time, how are we going to know when things end, when things start, when to get where we need to go on time, so we're not late, or maybe if we're too early. So time is a very important skill that students need to learn. So please make sure that they really complete this assignment. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is going to be topic 14, lesson 1. Okay, so first things first, I had students watch a video on time from our textbook, and then I had students begin to draw a clock. And then when they draw their clock, make sure that it's a circle, a pretty nice size circle, and then put a dot in the middle, because that's where our hands are going to go. Now with time, we have two special hands. Now they don't look like hands, they look more like arrows, but we call them hands because it kind of looks like they're pointing at numbers. And with our hands, we use our fingers to point at things to say, oh, that's a marker, oh, that's a person, oh, that's a piece of paper. So we point at things to know what they are and point them out that they're important. So that's why we call them hands on our clock. So when we have our clock here, we're going to go ahead and write the numbers. So at the top of our clock, we always start with the number 12, and then we're going to go to the right to write our numbers around it. So when we go this way, this is called clockwise, and then when we go the other way, it's called counterclockwise, because we're going backwards. So let's go ahead and start writing our numbers. So 12 always starts at the top, and then it goes 1, 2, and then we write a 3 on the side, and then 4, 5, and then at the bottom of our clock, we're going to write a 6. So 12 and 6 should be right across from each other. Okay, then let's keep going. 7, 8, 9. Now notice that the 9 and the 3 are right across from each other. 12, 6, 3, and 9 are very, very important numbers when reading a clock. Just something to remember for future learning. And then I'll just finish up the clock with writing 10 and 11. So we should have 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11. And you should be back at the top with 12 again. So another way to set up your clock is to write in these 4 numbers first, because you know that 12 is always at the top, 6 is always on the bottom, 3 is always to the right, and 9 is always on the left. When students begin to drive, they'll understand more of what it means to put your hands on 10 and 2. But for right now, this is how our clock should be set up. And then after you have your clock drawn, you're going to put 3 lines underneath it, and we're going to write certain letters underneath next to these lines. So for the first one we're going to write is H for hour. This is for our hour hand. That is one of the hands on our clock that is very, very important, and it tells us the hour in which in our time, or the time of the hour. Then the next one is a red hand, and it's called the minute hand. The minute hand is red, and it is a longer hand. The blue hand, the hour hand, is a much shorter hand, and it doesn't touch the numbers, but the red minute hand does touch the numbers. So that's how we can kind of tell the difference, because when you look on a regular clock, the hands are not colored unless it's a special clock, but usually the hands are black on a clock. So just always remember that the minute hand is the hand that is longer and touches the numbers, and the hour hand is the smaller hand or shorter hand that does not touch the numbers. It just points more in the direction of that number. And then in our video lesson from earlier, the video we watched earlier on time from the textbook, it told us that when the minute hand is at the 12 on a clock, it means o'clock. That's what it means. So there's a certain number here, o'clock. And that's how we begin to start reading clocks, is when we're going by the hour instead of just minutes in an hour as we move on through time. But So when the minute hand is on the 12, that means o'clock. We should say o'clock. So minute turns into o'clock instead of saying 8 hour 5 minute. Like, we're not going to read a clock like that. So it's going to be 6 o'clock if that's what our clock says. So let's go ahead and start drawing our hands on our clock. So first, let's go ahead and start with our hour hand, which is our blue hand. We should have a blue color, and let's point it at this number here. Now notice that I didn't draw it all the way. It's not touching. It's definitely shorter, and it's pointing exactly at the number that I want. And a number I want is 8. So when we look at our hour here and we look at our clock, our hour hand is pointing at the 8. And also notice that I started in the middle of the clock. That's why I put this dot here. So I know this is my starting spot, and I can go in any direction from the starting spot. Okay, so I always start in the middle, and then I point to the 8. So that means my hour is 8. Okay. Then we're going to go to the minute. So the minute hand is supposed to be longer. So our minute hand, I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm just going to draw a line going up and an arrow, and it's touching the 12. Now it's not completely on top of it, but because we need to be able to read the number. So it's just barely touching it. Okay, and we can also see that it is definitely much longer than the blue hand. Now, if we look at the minute, our minute hand is touching the 12. Like that. So we're going to write 12 for the minute. Now, when we go to write what time it is on the clock, we look at the hour and we notice, oh, the minute hand's on the 12, so that means that the minute turns into o'clock. So what hour is it? 8 o'clock. So we put down here, we're going to write our hour, which is 8. Now this only happens when our minute hand is on the 12. Now if the minute hand's on a different number, then it's not o'clock anymore. It's a different time. So only for when the minute hand's on the 12 is it o'clock. So let's go ahead and set up another clock for you to do, and do the same thing. You set up the numbers exactly just like this clock. And then you're going to draw the hands, and you can create whatever time you want. Actually, I take that back. You're going to do the time that I write down here, and that's what you're going to fill in on your clock. Let's see. What do I need? I need gray. Okay, and then you're going to fill in your hands on your clock up here based on what I have here. And then you have to fill in what o'clock it is, what the time is after filling it on your clock. And then let's go ahead and draw one more clock. This time you're going to fill in the numbers on your own, and you're going to have to write let's see here. Let's do it this way. Since that's what your hands are on, that means you need to have a certain number at the top and then a certain number here. Now, if your parent is helping you, this is definitely bigger than 9. So that means it's got to be one of the numbers between here. And you're going to fill in your numbers, and you're going to have to fill in the data here. Okay, and then just for extra, like a key, just to help you remember, the red hand should be longer. And this is for minute. And the blue hand is shorter. And this is for hour. Okay, if you have any other questions about this assignment, please let me know. I'm always here to help, and good luck, and I will see you next time. Bye.